Black history started in 1779. Prior to slavery, because these names allude to slavery, a slave mindset, you don't find these names. Nowhere again you find the Egyptians call themselves black. They call themselves Egyptians. The Dogons call themselves Dogons. Every tribe had their name or tribal title of who they represented. Let's go through some documentation to further prove what we're talking about, and then I'll do a discussion. I want to read the civic lesson number 5 from the Moors' Rise from Civil Death. We always want to document, again, our information, so it's just not something that, oh, I'm just making this up, or I'm just telling you thus and so. Why not call ourselves the original people? Why not call ourselves the perfected ones? Why not call ourselves the gods in the flesh? Why not call ourselves our true names? Negro, black, and colored are names that have no history, no genealogy, no ancestry. So when you read books where it states where European scholars have said the Negro have never given anything to the contribution of civilization, in fact, they're right. They're not lying to you. They're not making this up. They are telling you the truth. You can talk about the Egyptian civilization. You can talk about the Olmec civilization, the Toltec, Aztec, Inca, Mayan. You can talk about the Native American civilization that was here, Cherokee, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Comanche, Apache. These were tribal names of people, nations, who had a contribution into civilization. And all those names became known as the Moors. You can find yourself as a Moor, not as from Morocco. In Morocco, they call themselves Moroccans. But as Moors, you are actually claiming you are the founders of civilization, and you can find yourself all over the world at the same time. I guarantee you, when you mention that you are Moor, attitudes will change. When you mention your Moorish history, people will see you in a different light than calling yourself black, which is reflecting no light, which is dirty, filthy, represents death. It's evil, wicked. It's absent of all moral goodness. It's foul, displeasing, dismal, gloomy, and unconscious. So again, back to the civic lesson, number 5. Moors Rise from Civil Death, edited by Brother Abdullah Il Talib Mosey Bey, the Great Seal Moors, who is bringing a lot of the information of the Moorish history that was resurrected back to us through Prophet Noble Drew Ali, whom in most history books no one knows of, never heard of. And there's a reason why. Because he was the first one to come and tell you you're not Negro, black, and colored. He was the first one to come back and teach us of our Moorish heritage, our Moorish legacy, the civilization that we founded and brought to the whole world. He started in 1913 in the Canaanite Temple, and by 1928, it was called the Moorish Science Temple of America. He brought us our true, in a sense, knowledge of ourselves. He brought us pride again. He brought us to want us to raise up. I want to read on page 13. Under the Solve Nothing Opportunist. Under the title of Solve Nothing Opportunist. It says the world is in need of graduation. Yes, it is. Because from these times when individuals like Noble Drew Ali was coming to give us knowledge of self, tried to wake us up in the early teens and 20s, have still been stagnated. We have Moors out here, but these Moors are now saying, hey, you got to be in the Moorish Science Temple to be Moorish American. The prophet said, you're descendants of the ancient Moabites. Chapter 47, verse 10 and 11, what your forefathers were Moorish, you are today Moorish, without a doubt or contradiction. Verse 11 says that no man, including the prophet Noble Ali, can change man's descendant nature unless his powers extend beyond the great universal God, Allah. These are things that those who supposed to have been carrying on to wake us up with are now confused. They even tell you that the word, some of them Moors, or some so-called scholars in the conscious community saying that the word Moor and black is one and the same. But we'll show you cases in the near present to show you that you had Moors in America that were saying, no, I'm not black, because to call yourself black was a status of slavery. So for someone to tell you that the word Moor means black, and we're going to prove to you through records in law, in history, through the Dred Scott case and others, that they were saying, no, I'm not black, I'm not Negro, I'm Moorish. To prove that, hey, they understood that that word black was a status to servitude. It was a status of a slave. It was a status of a non-people. Just research. Research. So again, on page 13, it says the world is in need of graduation, but the overseer leaders. Did you hear that? But the overseer leaders, your leaders who stand before you, as in the Nation of Islam, for instance. Your leaders, like Minister Farrakhan, who many say have woke him up to a lot of knowledge, have woke him up to a lot of things. It doesn't matter how much he woke you up to, he's still keeping you asleep of the title of black. He's still calling you a black man, a black woman. No nation can be found on a map with black people. So no matter what good they have done or what good information he has shared, if he's still calling you black, this is why you never will have political, economical power. And I'm going to prove it through the information we're reading. I'm not just talking about Minister Farrakhan, many of your leaders, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, etc., that's calling you black. Now, if you love being called black, you got to prove that black represents a people. And don't tell me black is melanin, because they don't call it black, they call it melanin. And melanin is a new name. More ancient names was Agent Clark Orange, Melange, Spice, for real power. Okay? Research, that's all we're saying. Think, research, and you can go on from there. Once you find one falsehood, we always teach here at Kemet Grand Temple, which is a school of learning. We always teach you, once you find one falsehood, you'll see them all. So it goes on to say, the world is in need of graduation, but the overseer leaders and teachers are unwilling to instruct or teach. I wonder why they're unwilling to instruct or teach. Could it be because of money? Federal Reserve notes? The dollar bill, y'all? Which is no money. But that's another topic. Like black doesn't exist. It says the people are in want of knowing. They want to know. So they are going to those that they think know, and those that are standing before them are redirecting them into slavery again. Yet say I want to tell you the truth. Yet say I'm before you teaching you the truth, but didn't tell you that there's no such thing as black people. This is what the brother researched. And I've done research too. And I concur